UMG has officially removed all of their artists' music off of TikTok. Drake, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, BTS, Post Malone, Kanye West, all of their music is gone.
Sheesh. You know what the coldest part about all of this? They didn't consult with their artists.
DIY.
There has been an explosion of news. There has been an overwhelming amount of news circulating this decision by UMG, who represents the largest artists, songwriters around the world. Because they couldn't come to some kind of a deal based upon how much money they were going to be getting for licensing their music to TikTok, they decided to jump ship and remove their catalog from TikTok. There's so many content creators out here right now that are looking at muted videos that used to be artists that are a part of their repertoire. And it led a lot of people to asking the question, well, why is it that UMG would be so angry? Shout out to this Instagram page that I follow called Off Record Sounds. We've done reactions to them in the past. UMG are reportedly to pull music catalog from TikTok starting tomorrow at midnight following unsuccessful negotiations. This has been the biggest music news we've heard in years. It may not seem like it on first look, but we'll get into exactly why it is and the implications this will have on the industry in the following slides. UMG cited low payouts, TikTok failing to regulate AI, and leaks posted all as reasons for the move. That low payout one is hilarious because it's almost like nobody can pay our artists nothing except for us. How dare you? Who do you think you are? So this is directly on the Universal Music Group website. Here's what they said in their open letter. An open letter to the artist and songwriter community why we must call timeout on TikTok. Our core mission is simple: to help our artists and songwriters attain their greatest creative and commercial potential. To achieve these goals, our team employ their expertise and passion to strike deals with partners all around the world. Partners who take seriously their responsibilities to fairly compensate our artists and songwriters and treat the user experience with respect. One of those partners is TikTok, an increasingly influential platform with powerful technology and a massive worldwide user base. As with many other platforms with whom we partner, TikTok's success as one of the world's largest social platforms has been built in large part on the music created by our artists and songwriters. Debatable. Its senior executives proudly state publicly that music is at the heart of the TikTok experience. And our analysis confirms that the majority of content on TikTok contains music, more than any other major social platform. The terms of our relationship with TikTok are set by contract which expires January 31st. In our contract renewal discussions, we have been pressing them on three critical issues: appropriate compensation for our artists and songwriters, protecting human rights from harmful effects of AI, and online safety for TikTok users. With respect to the issue of artist and songwriter compensation, TikTok proposed paying our artists and songwriters at a rate that is the fraction of the rate that similarly situated major social platforms pay. Today, as an indication of how little TikTok compensates artists and songwriters, despite its massive and growing user base, rapidly rising advertising revenue, and increasing reliance on music-based content, TikTok accounts for only about 1% of our total revenue. So it seems like they're mad at TikTok for doing what streaming is doing to artists. Did I get that correct? TikTok proposed paying our artists and songwriters at a rate that is a fraction of the rate that similarly situated major social platforms pay. I've always made this argument when it comes to the advertisement done on your songs that are on streaming. Yes, I said your songs because my music's not on streaming anymore. But the songs that you have on streaming, have you ever looked around and saw the advertisements that pop up around it? You know, those generate income. You know, there's a reason why they're so prominent within the app. They're so prominent within the website. It's because those things make money and people pay a whole lot of money for that kind of visibility and billboard. But it's interesting when they don't get their way, all of a sudden they want to play victim. I don't know how much they expect a TikTok to account for their total revenue, especially when TikTok clips are only using 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 15 seconds at a time. Yes, there's content that uses a minute of the song, but if you're only paying artists fractions of a penny for their streams, how much do you expect from a company that's only using fractions of the songs that you're licensing? And why are they supposed to account for your total revenue? You can read this on their website, but they end this with saying TikTok's TikTok's tactics, that's a tongue twister. TikTok's tactics are obvious. Use its platform power to hurt vulnerable artists and try to intimidate us. If you don't sit your ass down, sit your big ass down. Talking about they intimidating you into conceding to a bad deal that undervalues music and shortchanges artists and songwriters as well as their fans. If that whistle didn't get your dogs woke up, better go check on them. That's a dog whistle, ladies and gentlemen. We will always fight for our artists and songwriters and stand up for the creative and commercial value of music. We recognize the challenges that TikTok actions will cause and do not underestimate what this will mean to our artists and their fans, who unfortunately will be among those subjected to the near-term consequences of TikTok's unwillingness. TikTok, you see how they threw them on the bus? To strike anything close to a market rate deal and meaningfully address its obligations as a social platform. But we have an overriding responsibility to our artists to fight for a new agreement under which they are appropriately compensated for their work on a platform that respects human creativity in an environment that is safe for all and effectively moderated. We honor our responsibilities with the utmost seriousness. Intimidation and threats will never cause us to shirk those responsibilities. It's funny how they talk about people who are using intimidation tactics and threatening when we've done reaction stories to how they treated Spotify when Spotify tried to pivot like Netflix did in 2012. For those that don't remember, in 2012, Netflix had a very important decision to make that TikTok is having to make right now. The decision was, at that time in 2012, 64% of their total revenue was owed back to people they were licensing TV shows and movies from, okay? 64%. It's hard to flip a profit off of that. So they made a decision. Instead of licensing these, we're going to cut that percentage down to the 30s by creating our own original content, Netflix original content. Some of the shows that got produced from there: Ozark, House of Cards, Stranger Things. Some of the biggest TV shows that have hit came from Netflix original content. They made that pivot, it saved their business, and it put them in a very competitive space. Unlike Spotify, who got scared after trying to strike individual deals directly with artists, these companies threatened, the oligarch, the three major labels, threatened to sue them, sue the pants off of them if they even thought about doing something like that. This is why Spotify owes about 70 cents of every dollar back to those three major labels just for the access to the music. They tried to strong-arm them. TikTok had a statement back, because this is very important. I was like, man, TikTok, you gonna stand on business, or I ain't gonna blame you if you get a little scared. Get a little scared. I know these are the big dogs talking about intimidation tactics. Boy, if you don't sit your big ass down with them intimidation tactics, shut up. This is what TikTok said. It is sad and disappointing that Universal Music Group has put their own greed above the interests of their artists and songwriters. Despite Universal false narrative and rhetoric, the fact is they have chosen to walk away from the powerful support of a platform with well over 1 billion users that serves as a free promotional and discovery vehicle for their talent. TikTok has been able to reach artist-first agreements with every other label and publisher. Clearly, Universal's self-serving actions are not in the best interest of artists, songwriters, and fans. Whoa! TikTok standing on business. That's a bold move. Let's look at the roster that is currently on Universal Music Group, just so you understand how big of a damn deal this is. Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, Sting, The Weeknd, Alicia Keys, SZA, Kendrick Lamar, Billie Eilish, Drake, Steve Lacy, Harry Styles, Adele, oh my God, U2, Elton John, Coldplay, Bob Dylan, Post Malone, Pearl Jam. You know what the coldest part about all of this? They didn't consult with their artists.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
How you know that, Curtis? Well, some of their artists or artists on their roster started reacting to the news. Here's one particular artist. This artist, I've never heard of him, but his name is Noah Kahan. He's an American singer-songwriter who's on Universal Music Group. Here's what he had to say in reaction to this news.
So like you, I've read the news about the UMG catalog being taken off TikTok. You know, so my songs aren't going to be on there anymore. I won't be able to promote my music on TikTok anymore. But luckily, I'm not a TikTok artist, right? Anyways, you're going to have to pre-save forever now if you want to listen to it, because I can't stick it down your throats anymore on this app. So pre-save forever. I'm still releasing it, still coming out. And, you know, I'll probably be okay, right? I'll land on my feet, right? Right?
Not in the arms of an angel. Well, that's one of their artists. Let's look at another one of the artists. Soulja Boy, who released his first 3 albums on their platform, said that's crazy what they just did on TikTok. Now my first 3 albums is gone, including Crank That. You mean you didn't tell Soulja Boy? You didn't tell Big Draco? What is going on over there? Don't sound like artist friendly or artist first decision making going on over there.
I still picture the day we got the good news. It was me and your mama in my vehicle. We were on our way to Target for a clear blue. I think I might have saw a rainbow in my rear view. Your mama took 2 tests and it was not a doubt that Curtis King was about to be your father now. I started stressing, am I ready? Am I wildin' out? But see, your mama rubber belly kinda calm me down. I got no time to be selfish, and plus your mama was in pain. Anxious as ever, morning sickness every day. It was hard, but we didn't wanna list our complaints. Till the doctor called and said you got a cyst on your brain. But you still made your way into the world. The cyst went down around 9 months later. I guarantee you that's your grandma's prayers. Meet Nas, my boy, your son with razor.
Say you give me so much sunshine. You give me so much right. Say you give me so much right now.
So, of course, this sent the internet into a frenzy. Shout out to the homie Kato. He was speaking specifically to his prediction that UMG was bluffing. There's a part of me that kind of felt like when I saw this initially, I was like, they're playing hardball. And then they did it. This is his reaction to it.
All right, I was wrong. UMG has officially removed all of their artist music off of TikTok. I thought that they were bluffing, but I woke up this morning, went to TikTok, and went to all the sounds. Sure enough, all of their music is gone.
Sheesh.
This is a list of just some of the artists that they have removed from the platform.
I didn't even see some of these names. The Beatles? Mariah Carey? You know how many Christmas videos is finna go mute? Rihanna? Eminem? Nicki Minaj? Oh my gosh, and she's entrenched in the middle of a battle. And I say this kind of tongue in cheek, but I really do feel bad for some of these artists. How do you not consult with the people that represent the pillars of your business? You talk about how TikTok is being greedy and how we're part of the reason why they grew. This is part of the reason why you grew. Artists like this, like Justin Bieber, BTS, these are the people who are part of why you grew. So your neglect is putting their music in limbo on one of the biggest platforms for promotion, free promotion for your artists. And you're going to convince all of us it's because of how unfair TikTok is? I don't know if they have a long as history as you do. That's nuts.
Drake, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, BTS, Post Malone, Kanye West, the list is crazy. I mean, just open up TikTok. This is like what we're working with right now.
So I saw a stat today that said that with this removal, 50 of the top, I think 100 songs were removed because they were all associated with UMG. So it makes a pretty huge impact. There's no lie, probably millions and millions of videos right now on TikTok with muted audio. However, my wife told me that she went back to some of the ones where she used Drake, but when she used Drake, she said she was able to change the music. So problem solved.
Now, shout out to Nick D and Connor Price, though. Those are the homies. But everything else is looking very, very dry.
Something that's important about what you just saw in that clip. The majority of those pieces of content, the music that you can use now for your videos on TikTok, the majority of those pieces of music were either independent artists or content creators who put together video content and then allowed their audio to be shared across the platform for anybody that wants to make content with that audio. This, ladies and gentlemen, I feel is a fantastic opportunity that independent artists need to go crazy over.
I'm not even mad. I think this is an incredible opportunity for independent artists to start going hard with their music and their content on TikTok, because literally overnight, over half of your competition was wiped off the apps.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And it ain't no weak ass competition. That's some stiff competition. I mean, some would say it wasn't even a competition before then. Now it's just you And based upon that tone that I saw in that TikTok statement, who knows if this is going to be a prolonged situation. If TikTok stand on business and if TikTok fully embraces the independent artists that they have on there, who honestly, they're the pull that these UMGs and labels pull from. They literally hunt down the charts of independent artists that go viral on TikTok and say, send him a deal, send her a deal, send them a deal, send them a deal. So beyond your music supporting a TikTok, TikTok does the job of what used to be the responsibilities of your A&R. TikTok charts has made that supremely easy to the point where that job is not even as accessible as it once was. So someone asked me a question. They said, Curtis, man, I know very few adults that go to TikTok. Actually, none. Do grown people actually go there? Honest question. I told them, based upon these stats from demandsage.com/TikTok, 25% of users are the ages of 10 to 19. We knew that was the majority. 22% are from 20 to 29. 21% are from 30 to 39. 20% are from 40 to 49 years of age. 11% are 50 and above. So if I'm doing my math correctly, that means that there's more people who aren't kids that are on TikTok.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Somebody lied to you, big dog. Somebody lied to you, big dog, because they didn't want your old ass over there. They didn't want you over there. They didn't want that competition. It was bad enough they were already competing with the Taylor Swifts and the Kendrickses of the world. They didn't want you over there. But now's a great opportunity. We alluded to a few months ago that TikTok was going to kind of try their hand at, I believe, the distribution and the streaming game in general. I would love to know how this affects that or how that speeds up that process, because we didn't really get a whole lot of details afterwards. But I think it's very interesting, the time that we're in for independent artists and, of course, DIYers.
DIY.
Because there's now more accessibility. There is now a more even playing field than we have ever seen before. There are tools that are around you. See, this is something that many of you are waiting for me to say, I told you so. I am not proud that this is where it had to go for things to work out the way that they worked. But I am proud that I listened. When I heard that voice, I say it was God. But when I heard that voice, I listened. Can I share this last thread with you that I think really, really helps you to understand the kind of artist that we have to become in our own form? And I said in this thread, it took me 9 years to create a self-sufficient, truly independent ecosystem as a rapper, producer, and content creator. This morning, I realized that it's finally here. Thread time. I said for my media needs, I grew a YouTube channel over 9 years and collected data for over 256,000 subscribers. I did it when I saw how political getting interviews on bigger platforms was in my genre. So why kiss their ass when I can press record, promote, and interview myself?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
DIY.
For music, ladies and gentlemen, I created a home studio that allows me to record, produce, mix, master, document, live stream, and upload original music. No more hourly studio rates or waiting for engineers to send songs back to me. Shows. I converted an extra living room in my home into a live performance and content creation podcasting space. This allows me to live stream shows with optimal audio quality behind a paywall and or for free to the world. Merch. I designed it with the assistance of Canva, Shopify, and print-on-demand services like Printify. No need for physical merch gathering dust in my garage as I await my next booking. There's never been a better time to be independent. The resources are abundant and accessible to most of us. And if they aren't available to you at this moment, that's when you got to develop your resourcefulness. I bring this up to remind you the necessity of figuring out how to start it yourself, aka do it yourself. These platforms that we rely so heavily upon can switch at a moment's notice because it's not our business for it not to switch. These platforms can make decisions. I mean, damn it, I'm looking at that UMG roster and I'm like, how the hell could you think that this is good for you long term to make such an abrupt decision because you got your feelings hurt by TikTok? How could you think that's a great decision when you have access to the largest artists? And then I thought, you got access to the largest artists. You think that you cannot crumble. You think you're indestructible. I do believe this is the beginning of these companies that traditionally would have buckled to companies this big. This is the beginning of those companies going a different direction, becoming more independent in their own ecosystem, becoming more direct to consumer. I don't know if you guys see, those of you that are gamers, E3 is no longer doing their E3 trade show conference. Very popular for gamers. Why? Because most of the vendors, Nintendo and all these other gaming companies, decided to go direct to consumer. Trust your friend when I tell you that something is changing. Something is happening. I'm paying attention not just to rap politics, not just to music. I'm paying attention to the world around us. The companies are strapping up. The companies are trying to figure out, hey, how much of this can we do ourselves? I hope that if you see yourself as a business, you do the same. Those are my thoughts though, DIYers. I would love to hear your thoughts.
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.